How many interviews do you think you've had? And how many rejections have you received?
I've had over 400 interviews in the last 2 years. And in terms of rejections, 80% of them have been rejections. In terms of offers, that's I accepted. Obviously, there are just 2, but the remaining 20% were offers that I rejected as well.
How did it make you feel to be rejected?
Rejection cuts deep into the soul. You feel that you're not good enough. You feel what could have gone wrong. You feel, should I even be doing this?
Hello and welcome to the 91 podcast. On today's episode, we have an expert with over 7 years experience in marketing, specializing in handling paid media campaigns for prominent companies all over the world. Welcome to the studio, Mahmood Owolabi. It's great to have you here today.
All right. Thank you so much, Ugonna, for having me. It's been a pleasure, and what a beautiful studio you have in here. Thank you.
So Mahmood, someone probably saw the thumbnail, thought this sounds interesting. Why do you think they should stay and keep watching? What's in it for them?
All right. So that's a very good question. The main reason why one should stay and listen to this episode is very simple. I got this far, and there are certain things that I did to be able to get not just 1 but 2 jobs here in the UK. So the exact strategies that I implemented that I believe is scalable and duplicatable for anyone who's listening to get jobs in marketing here in the UK. That's the main reason I want them to listen to this episode.
You've worked for quite big companies. I know you probably don't want to mention their names, but the second largest telecommunications company in Nigeria. So how did you get into that role? Is it through connection or, many people think jobs in Nigeria is through connection. You know this person, they put me in this role. So how did you get such a big role? What made you so valuable that, you'd work for this company?
That's a very interesting question. And I won't say it's connection. I would say it is tenacity. And I would explain. Before joining the company, I was working for an agency before then. And working with that agency, I was sent on, we go for different engagements with media partners. That is the people who particularly asking me. So we went there. So I saw this vibrant young lady as a speaker at that event. Her name is Mariam. The way she spoke about marketing and the way she spoke about usage of platforms, the way she spoke about segmentation of audiences, it's really, really caught my attention. And being a very curious person, I went on LinkedIn to go check her out. Where does she work for? I wanted to know. I wanted to tap from that. So I went into her LinkedIn. I found her company. Her company is called Digitex Plus. Then I sent in my application into Digitex Plus, and I was called in for an interview. And when I was called in for an interview, the interview went bad.
Sorry, I thought you were about to say it was good. sorry for laughing.
The interview went bad, and that's one of the things that I always try to echo to people. Success is non-linear. You should always understand that it's ups and downs. It takes a decoy, but what's very important is for you to maintain a very strong focus on where exactly you're going.
What made your interview go bad? What did you do? Did you go there and forget what you were supposed to say?
It went bad. According to her. After I got in, I'm still going to get to how I got in. According to her, after I got in, she just said I wasn't ready to join the team. She was literally assembling the youngest, brightest minds in terms of talents that were very raw in their form into her team, and she just felt I wasn't good enough to get into her team. She told me this after I got into the team. So I got the rejection email. It messed up my whole week because I think I got it on a Monday. It messed up my whole week, and I was like, okay, no problem. And so I went for a course, I think a few months after that interview. And she happened to be one of the facilitators for that course. And in that session, I just kept on like, so all the things that I needed. So I was asking questions out of curiosity because my role required some answers that I needed to deliver on. There are some things around marketing, particularly digital marketing, that I needed to like improve on. And I saw as a resource for me to extract as much information from her. So during the class, I'm a very quiet person. Especially in a crowd, I'm a very quiet person. It might not appear like that now, but I kept on like asking questions just to help my own company and my own work. And asking those questions, those very thoughtful questions, made I realize that he's probably ready. And that was like, I think 2-3 months after the initial interview.
Yeah.
So I just got another email like, sorry, I got a phone call that they reconsidered. Would you like to come join the company? So that was my entrance into that particular.
You worked for it?
Yes, I really, really worked for it.
Wow. So from your experience working for these big companies, what would you say makes an effective marketing campaign online?
There are several things that makes a campaign effective. And there are several things. But the number one thing, particularly from a paid media perspective, is the ability to answer just one question. The why. Why will these people buy from us? Why will these people consider us? What distincts us from other people? Why are these people even looking to buy? And how do you answer the big why question? Is the ability to invest in research.
Okay.
So the brands that I work with within the Omnicom Media Group, they were very, very, very dependent on research. And that's the reason why a few of them within the period that the business was handling their accounts, they were not just driving adoptions for their products. They were eating aggressively into market shares. The third largest telecommunication company in Nigeria became the second largest telecommunication company in Nigeria based on market share during that period.
Wow.
There are several tech companies that were also that also had accounts within that company. That there were other players within their industry that were ahead of them, that were already in the industry, that were already within the market before they came. And one of them went on to raise, I think, a Series C, and they became the second tech unicorn in Nigeria. So all of this was achievable for us as a team because we were able to make proper research into the market, into the audience, segmenting the audiences.
When you say segmenting, what do you mean?
Okay, I'll give you an example here. One product, this piece of microphone, as you're seeing it, is just one product from one company, and you can just basically just say, come and buy this microphone. That's it. But what this microphone means to people is different. Understanding those differences, trying to find out the differences, is basically what I consider segmentation. What does this microphone mean to some people? You might have a category that belongs to podcasters. You might have a category that goes along with reviewers. You might have you might create an audience segment that goes to people who want maybe entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So understanding different audience segments based off of research, because the research answers the big question: the why, the what, and the how. Why are people interested? What are they interested? And how are they going to be using the product? So all of those questions is what the research caters to. And after answering those questions, it points you to different audience segments.
Wow. So you've moved from Nigeria to the UK. So can you tell me a bit of how that transition was for you? How did you move? Obviously, you're here and you're still working with big brands. So can you let us know how you did that? Is it just luck? What did you do? How did you get here and go straight into working with top companies? Because most people do, when they come here, they struggle to try and find their feet.
Let me answer like Nigerian billionaires. It's grace.
It's great. It's the Lord's doing.
It's the Lord's doing. It's everything requires luck. No, the universe pretty much has to align in your favor. However, there is something that has to do with strategy, and being a marketing person at heart. I'm a student of the game. I came in here and like every other person, I struggled. On a much more personal note, I came into this country with just £1,000 in my pockets, and I knew things needed to change real fast. Let me take it from the beginning. It's very typical for immigrants to come into this country, especially established professionals in third world countries that come here and they are unable to find their footing.
Yeah.
It's very normal, and they need to do anything legal for them to be able to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody who has had the privilege to like weather that storm, I totally understand it and I totally respect it. It is what it is. But what exactly did I do?
Mm-hmm.
So once I came here, I was able to like, because I had little money in my pockets.
£1,000.
Yeah, I needed to like, okay, pay for rent, take care of my family, because
From that £1,000.
so I needed to understand that. So obviously my wife and I, we were able to like book shifts here and there, and it only lasted I think a couple of weeks, I think like 6 weeks. And that was it before I got my first job. The question is how? You see, in job search, and I'm going to be talking extensively, please do you have time? In job search, I'm going to be talking extensively in the marketing parlance, because that is what I understand. I believe these ideas are scalable. I think they're adaptable to other professions, but there is a game and there's a method to it. There are two parts of it. That is the pre-catch and the post-catch. What is the pre-catch? The pre-catch is the things you need to do to get yourself into the room, the interview room. And the post-catch is that after you've got their attention and you're in the interview room, what are the things that you need to prepare for to eventually get yourself a role? Now, that's established. Now, let's go to the pre-catch. That's the name I coined for it. So, pre-catch is the ability to be seen and the ability to see. What is the ability to see? Is what most people do. Being on registering on job boards,
job websites,
Indeed, Total Jobs, Push CV and things like that. And I think that is where a whole lot of people spend a whole lot of their efforts in, and that is the reason why they are unable to convert all of that time put into making those applications into job offers, because everybody's doing it.
Yeah, saturated. So many people.
It's saturated. Now, how do you want, after doing all of that, what next are you meant to do? That is the minimum requirement. You're coming into a job market, open your profiles on these job boards. What is the next thing you need to do? I discovered this as a result of reverse engineering what we did in the health sector. When we came into this country, a whole lot of us were not going to get jobs in the NHS. A whole lot of us were not going to get jobs at the hospitals. For those working in the healthcare sector, who did we look to? Agencies.
Yeah.
So I reversed engineered that. if within the health sector, there are agencies that get you jobs as an healthcare assistant, as a support worker, shouldn't there be agencies for other professions as well? So I did a quick Google search. Recruitment agencies for digital marketing managers, recruitment agencies for paid media experts and things like that. So a whole lot of recruitment
You
agencies,
found them.
they came out.
This is the first time I'm hearing anyone saying they're doing that.
Yes, and that's the reason why I came out I was very tenacious in responding to your emails that I wanted to come out and tell people about this, because there's a possibility that people are feeling they're not good enough, and we'll get that to detail at the end of the conversation. So let's not. I don't want us to go.
So that's the pre-catch.
So that's so this is the pre-catch. It's very it's very robust, and I've gotten so much testimonials from it. It's a full-time job in itself, but if you should put in effort into it, 6 weeks you should get an offer. I see people have done it for less. I've seen people who have done it for less.
And this is better than just applying on Indeed or something and
it is
waiting for someone to notice you.
Yes, so this is way better. So you go on Google and you look for, regardless, depending on the industry that you want to focus on. For people who are not into marketing, just look for recruitment agencies, because the difference. You talked about a question. You asked me a question that in that you alluded to something that at the beginning that Nigerians
think it's just connection.
Yeah, how do you get a job? Connections. That thing sits very much in our subconscious, unfortunately. I'm guilty of it. And for me to be guilty of it, I'm sure many people are very guilty of it. So you just assume that, you even feel that job websites, you're just going to apply, you're not going to get a job.
Yeah.
So
unless you know somebody that knows somebody.
Unless you know someone that knows somebody. And that's the reason why once we come in, we always look for somebody that knows somebody to even get us into agencies, to get work in the health sector. So that's the next thing you would do. As a marketing professional, I'm talking about the ability to, the pre-catch now. As a marketing professional, what you now need to do next is to go and explore niche marketing job boards. Not Indeed, not Total Jobs. I think I have a few. I have Otta.com. They cater to industries like the tech sector particularly, and the roles that are open within the tech sector. So maybe
Can you spell that? Is it OTTA?
Yes, OTTA.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So roles like DevOps, roles like software development and things like that. But most of these tech companies as well, they need marketers. So they need growth marketers. They need paid media specialists, search ad specialists, paid social specialists, marketing managers, product marketing managers. There are so many opportunities on that. So aside the broad, I mentioned the broad. Now you need to move down the funnel.
To the niche.
You now start niching down your search. As you are doing this, you are it's increasing the volume of the opportunity to be seen.
Because they're seeing you on all of those different websites.
So all of those things will start hitting home. So you apply on all of that. That one is separate. Now, one thing that's in my calls, because I usually have different phone calls from different people that they need they just, how do I get a job and things like that, and I take them through this. I don't know the reason why Nigerians don't use LinkedIn. It's very weird. It's very weird, and they don't use it well enough. If you want to know me, obviously aside my typical socials, if you should go to LinkedIn, you really, really know what I'm about. you need to treat LinkedIn like the way, obviously professionally, and be much more discerning about it. You need to treat it just like the way you treat your TikTok and your Instagram.
It's like you're talking to me. My LinkedIn, I have a LinkedIn account, but I don't use it.
So on your LinkedIn, you need to put your picture there.
I think I have an old picture there.
You need to put your picture there. And the reason for that, and because we're speaking with a very niche audience, that is we coming from the third world country, I'm not naive to the fact that you might be discriminated as a result of your picture, and that's what people tend to avoid.
And your name also.
And your name as well. But you know what? Putting it there, you are looking for a job. They are filtering applicants. You as an applicant as well, what you ought to be doing is filtering away companies. Companies that don't have diversity ingrained in their DNA, once they see your picture on your profile, they won't reach out. You don't even want those companies to reach out to you in the first place. Because even if you get into those companies, you might not like the experience. Because there's a life before job, because obviously we need to get bills paid, but there's also the part of job satisfaction once you get in. You don't want to work in an environment that you don't feel welcome. We see that every time. We read that every time, and the stories are out there. A quick TikTok will just show you how people are going through that. So on your LinkedIn, you need to put in a cover. You need to put in your picture. You need to write out your bio, fill it out. And I was at the LinkedIn office 2 weeks ago, and they took us through how to make our profiles better. They gave me a headshot for my profile. I've not updated yet. Very nice picture. So they talked about the importance of you putting skills within your profile. So the kind of skills that are pertaining to the roles that you have and the roles that you're looking for. You need to put them. You need to put them in there. So that's on LinkedIn. And also your location is very important that you set your location right. I always recommend setting your location. If you have been looking for a job so bad, maybe make it as broad as possible. Just put the United Kingdom there.
Can anyone just walk into the LinkedIn office, or were you there for something special?
It's one of the perks that comes with it. If you are if you're a digital marketing manager, for example, you need to set your skills that, okay, you're good with paid social, you're good with Facebook ads, you're good with TikTok ads, you're good with maybe if you have an idea about search ads, you can put it there. So if you're a programmer, the exact languages that you know how to code in, you need to put that there as skills themselves. Those skills are very important, and you need to take them very seriously. I didn't know that they were really that important. You need to be as descriptive in your bio as much as possible. Make it very concise, but put the right instructions in there. Now, put the right description in there. Now, also, as a job applicant, you should always be familiar by now, based on what I've explained so far. You should be familiar and wary of the kind of keywords.
What do you mean?
So, keywords are basically tied to skills, but not 100%. They are the kind of things that the recruiter is looking for in a profile. So, take for example, I talked about you as a programmer, for example, and they needed a DevOps that knows how to write in JavaScript or whatever. Sorry to the program. I'm not a programming head. So you know how to write in JavaScript, or back you are very good with SEM, that is search engine marketing, or SEO, search engine optimization. Those kind of skills, they are keywords that are peculiar to the kind of roles that you are looking for. And obviously, I'm assuming you should have the skills that you're putting in there. You should just go and put things that you don't have. I don't encourage that. So if you have all of that, put in there. It's so once a recruiter is given a job brief, because as a marketing person, your job is to sell, but your job also is to act as the buyer. So you will notice that in what I've been saying, there's been a lot of reverse engineering, because that's the kind of mindset that I have. And that's the kind of mindset that most marketing managers should have. So if you are an applicant, you should also act as a recruiter. What is the recruiter looking for? So if you are the monkey, you should act like the hunt. You should act like the banana, and if you are the banana, you should look at the monkey as well. So you need to be looking at the two things at the same time, not just because if you are looking at things from your own perspective, that's the reason why we get those mails that we get from all of these guys. So like when I open let me just take you through my LinkedIn for a moment. If you go into my messages, I'm not even talking about my mentions now, you would see a couple of them. You can see all of these emails coming in. You can see all of these emails that you're seeing here. All of these emails ads, I'm responding to many of them. All of this. You can see I've scrolled like a couple, like 3 swipes right now, and you can see this is just the first quarter of 2024. If you should go all the way down, you will scroll and you scroll tire since 2022 when I came in. So that's as a result of you properly optimizing your LinkedIn.
Wait, are these all jobs?
Those are jobs.
Those are all job emails.
Those are jobs. A good 90% of them are jobs.
Those are a lot of emails.
Those are a lot. So 90% of them are. If a quick guess, that's like about over 300 messages coming from different recruiters. Because there are two types of recruiters. There's in-house and there's external. The external guys are the ones that are helping companies to recruit for jobs, to helping companies to get talent into their companies. That's an industry that is actually not functioning well in Nigeria, and that's the reason why many of us don't know about it. So sorry to the audience that my messaging might not be structured, but just listen to it and be writing things down. It will make sense to you.
He's still in the pre-catch, talking about the pre-catch.
I'm talking about the pre-catch here. These are the things that you need to do.
Sorry, just to give some structure, just mention again the things you've mentioned. So he talked about not just applying on Indeed and those websites, but actually applying on niche websites also.
Niche websites as well.
Yes, and applying to...
Finding recruitment agencies that are particular to your professional niche.
Yeah.
So if you're an engineer, you would find engineers. You will find engineering recruitment agencies. If you're a marketing person, you will find marketing specific recruitment agencies.
And he just talked about LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn the proper way.
Yes, how to use LinkedIn the proper way. So going into so once you get those marketing agencies, you will go to their website and you'll submit. You'll see different roles. Patterning, because now you're in your niche. You know the kind of role that you're looking for. Are you a paid media person? You go there. Are you a social media manager? You find them there. Are you a growth specialist? You find them there, and you submit your CV. Over 60 or 75% of the times, the recruiters will call you.
Wow.
Yes. So they will call you, and the influx of immigrants in the last 2 years made the job market a bit tough. But one thing I knew as at the first quarter of 2022 was that recruiters will, after calling you, they get on can I get on a quick 25 minutes call with you? And they speak with you. They find you very articulate. They find you very professional. They find you smart. They will shop you around. It's like a football agent that discovered the next Messi. They will take you from Barcelona to Real Madrid, from Real Madrid to Juventus. That is what they do.
Wow.
It might have reduced now because of the saturated job market. It's a very tough job market, which I totally understand and acknowledge. But things are changing, and it's going to go back to that way very soon. But you can be ahead of the curve if you implement all of it.
Prepare yourself for it.
Yes, if you properly prepare yourself and implement properly. So we're still in the pre-catch. Let's go back.
This pre-catch is very detailed.
So let's go back. So let's go back to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So you put all of those skills in there. If you are in need, I want to use the word desperate. If you are very much in need and you are quite mobile, just keep your location as broad as possible. If you are in the UK, you are in Canada. I won't advise Canada or US people to try it because their country is like it's super big. So it's just very wild. You should put United States on as your location, and you're in New York and you're getting opportunities in San Francisco. It's not gonna work.
No.
So, but if you're in the UK, because we have a relatively smaller country, what you just need to do is just like put the UK there. So
don't put London, don't put the city you're in, just the...
don't. If you are changing jobs, your mind don't rest. You are good, but you need to like move to another job, and you are settled. You have a family. You have a beautiful home. You don't want to leave your family. I'm talking about then put your precise city there. It makes things much more. So you're getting opportunities niche down into. But if you're somebody that you've been here 6, 7, 8 months and you've never gotten what you wanted, and you feel you can improve your chances, you still feel the opportunity to do this one more time, you can improve your chances by making it as broad as possible so that opportunities can come from London, Manchester, Swindon, Bristol, Birmingham.
So just put UK.
Just put UK. So that's my own personal recommendation. It's not data backed, but that's what I feel works, depending on how in need that you are. So still on LinkedIn, what I noticed after my session there are so many videos. I can't remember a particular creator right now, but there are so many videos on YouTube that you can check that the information is not structured, it's scattered. But by the time you go through like 10, 12 of them and implement all of those strategies, implement what those creators say, you find a very big shift in the amount of inbound opportunities that will come in your way. The first, you going on those job sites and putting that's outbound. But now inbound, you're sitting down and the opportunities are coming to you. So because what I also noticed that our people are not even getting interviews at all.
Yeah.
It is not even about I'm getting interviews. My own situation was that I was getting interviews, but I was not getting offers. You understand? It's bad when you're not even getting interviews at all. If you're not getting interviews at all, you are in control of that. You can fix that. But once you're getting interviews and you're not getting the job, you are partly in control and totally not in control, which is also okay. So what else have I missed in the pre-catch? I think that pretty much covers what's in the pre-catch. The final part of the pre-catch, leveraging LinkedIn itself, is the ability to track all of the things that you are doing. And I'll recommend a website called teal.com. That will be teal.com. It is a platform that allows you to be able to track all of your job search abilities. It's just like having an spreadsheet that does that. So what I did with teal.com is that I looked at myself. I'm a marketing professional who has been around for 7 years. I've worked across different industries. What kind of industries am I passionate about? I'm passionate about telecommunications. I'm passionate about finance. I'm passionate about technology. And I'm also passionate about the agency advertising industry. Those are the industries that I care about. I looked at those industries and I looked at the kind of companies that I want to work for in those industries. I put them in my tail. Then I now go to each of those companies. I look at the senior people in those companies. I start adding them to my tail. I add them to the platform. I set times in which I want to be going after them one after the other on LinkedIn. So I might decide to go look at Amazon, for example. I have like about, for example, 10 people who I consider hiring managers, people who I know if I get into this company I'll be reporting to, and people who work within the human capital department or the human resources department. I add like about another 10 for Amazon. And once a week, I get an alert on sale that go and check Amazon. So I go into all of their profiles and I see if they've dropped new posts, if they've reposted something or something like that. I go in there and engage with each and every one
This
of
is
them.
some strategic job hunting.
Yeah, it is the reason why I go nuclear on this kind of things is that there are certain jobs that I personally want. I want to be in. I'm giving you things that you can control and things that you can control. So I'm giving the audience an opportunity to. It's like a buffet of things that you can do and things that you can pick, because I want to work at certain companies.
Because you know exactly what you want.
I know exactly
you know type of job you want.
I know the kind of job that I want. I go after them strategically.
Wow.
So I engage with their posts. I do all of that. I just once a while.
You engage with their social media?
No, their LinkedIn. Many of them, they post on LinkedIn. Many of them, they post roles that are available on LinkedIn. Somebody will post that my team is looking for this. Because we are not following that person, you're not connected to that person, you won't know and see it. You just go to the Amazon.com jobs website and go and put your CV there, and you're going to get slapped. You're not going to get a job. It's all, you can always network. So this is a part of networking. You can always go the networking route to go in and just like engage, be a normal person. For the people that used to slide into DMs on Instagram, you can do your job search. It's not. It is not rocket science. If the thing is that be confident that you are good enough, and we'll still get back to part of the motivation much longer in the conversation. Once you know for sure that you are good enough, you would be able to make all of these efforts, and you'll be reaching out to these people on LinkedIn. So by the time you are liking somebody, you are commenting on someone's post, you send them a connection, you drop a very thoughtful note. When you send them a request, or you enter their email to have a chat with them, they already have
recognize your name.
Recognize you,
Yeah.
and they push opportunities your way. There was a fintech. It's a global fintech, very, very, very. I'll call them a startup. I will not say they're the biggest in Europe. I chatted with the hiring manager. It's actually a very, very funny story. I did all of this. I did all the work. She loved me, and she sent. So I'd already applied for the jobs using the niche method, going on Otter to find a particular company. So I already applied, and I was already rejected via the normal things that people used to do to us. I did that. So I started chatting with her, and I told her about that particular role. She said that she was on leave, that she would once she gets back from her leave. So I think she forgot. So I gave her like a few weeks, and I reached out to her. She apologized for forgetting and things like that. So she said she'll reach out to human resource. As I opened the camera like this, I saw an intern as the person that is going to like have the pre-qualification conversation with me in human resource. I just smiled. You know why?
Why?
I knew I was not going to go forward, because if I had applied the normal way, you rejected me. I now went to go and form connection with the person I'll be reporting to. The person now told people to come and do a proper interview with me. You didn't see it good enough to send me a proper specialist. They just sent somebody that you're already giving that person the instruction that just have that conversation with him
and get rid of
and get rid of him. I put my best foot forward, and I was having a conversation with my wife that this is what I did. She laughed, and I said, "You see, they won't come back, because I have a very good, because I have interviewing for jobs. It's like working out, because I've worked so much about perfecting my stories, my speech, my everything. It's very easy for me speaking with HR people, HR people, recruiters. I always get past them, because you cannot know my job. As a matter of fact, I try as much as possible to like simplify the things that I say, because they don't know what I'm talking about. They might not know what I'm talking about, which might count against me. So I don't go as technical as possible. So I move through that phase to the hiring managers, where we're now getting into the ring, and we'll get to that. So where we'll get into the ring, and we'll now show proper muscle, proper dexterity on how on your knowledge about the role and how you can help their team and their company grow. So I told my wife that I won't get this job. This girl that they sent to me, she's too small for this kind of conversation and for the role I'm trying to have with that particular startup. Just like after we had like lunch, because I remember we were out, I just showed her the email like, sorry, you are rejected. She said I should reach out back to
the
lady. I said I told her there was no point about it. That the HR people, they were just not okay with her coming back to tell them that you need to speak with the person when they've already qualified me as not eligible.
When they've already rejected
eligible for the role. So that's pretty much how. Those are one of those are one of the things that my personal experiences within my job search. But also when it comes to LinkedIn, it is a very powerful tool. When I spoke with them coming to them as an advertiser, but what they are actually about. Advertising is like not their bread and butter. They're about catering to the job market, and they're very determined about helping the job market, and that's pretty much the main part of what they do.
Well, let's get into the catch area. You talked about the pre-catch.
Yeah.
But I really want to hear about the catch.
So before ending on, so the final part of the pre-catch is obviously qualifying and tracking all the opportunities for you to. So now let's go to the post-catch.
Post-catch, yeah.
So post-catch is you've done all of this work. If you're able to do all of that work, you should be averaging at around 4 interviews, 4 HR or recruiter interviews every week.
4 interviews a week?
Yes, 4 interviews a week. The reason why I personally, I was averaging 4. And the reason why for that 4 is because I needed to like create a schedule for family and things like that. And a schedule for work. So there are certain time slots that I could afford to be able to be in interview rooms. So you should be able to easy get to HR and recruiter 4 every week. So now going to the post-catch. Let's assume you've done all the work and you are able to speak to the HR. You are now here with the hiring manager. For definition, who is the hiring manager? The hiring manager is the person that you're going to be working with. When you're in an interview room with an hiring manager, there's just one question that they want to properly answer. Can I work with this person? That is all the 30 minutes you're going to spend with them, all the very all the fake laughs that you guys will have on the interview. It doesn't matter.
Just, can I work with this person?
Can I work with this person? And how do you show that you can work with this person? There is going to be one main question, and there are going to be 4 stories that you need to tell within that interview.
You seem to have a lot of experience in this area. So,
ladies and gentlemen, I eat interviews for lunch break and dinner. So stick around. So there's one main question, and there are 4 main stories. The one main question is usually comes about, tell me about yourself. Some of them might want to like put sand in your garage and say, tell me what's not on the CV. You get, that's pretty much telling you what tell me about yourself. It's usually the thing is that depending on the hiring manager. I've seen a TikTok video that a guy was narrating his experience on the recruitment side. That is, he seconded his manager to go and interview a candidate for a role. The candidate stepped into the interview room. 2 minutes into that interview, the manager sent him a text on whatever messaging platform that they have. I'm not feeling this guy. And they spent 30 minutes on that interview. So the reality is that
30 minutes wasted of your life.
And they're smiling.
And
They're
laughing with
smiling,
you,
they're laughing,
asking
they're
if you want tea or coffee.
they are nodding your head, but you're not going to get the job.
Wow.
So those are the things you can't control. The things I'm telling you right now are the things that you can control. The first one is tell me about yourself. I'm speaking, what do you want them to know about you? You want them to know the things that are important for the role. And if I'm going to be dropping an example of, ask me.
I should ask you. Okay. Tell me about yourself.
All right. Thank you very much, Ugonna, for having me. My name is Mahmood, and obviously from my CV, you can see I have over 7 years of experience in marketing, working across different industries from telco to aviation to fintech to luxury, basically the whole 9 yards. And the privilege of working across all of these industries, because I have the opportunity to work both on the client side and on the agency side. So I basically know both sides of the aisle. Then I now switch to the reason why I think I'll be right fit for the company. So all of these experiences has brought me down to this very moment where, for this performance marketing manager role, due to the experience I've had at XXXX company, I think I'll be able to bring such experiences to this role, and that's who I am. It's very simple. I talk about it max 60 seconds or maybe 100 seconds. You're done talking about it. 120 seconds, you're done talking about it. They've seen your CV. They know why you are here.
Yeah, they've already read everything.
Which now goes to the fourth part. The second part of the post catch. That is your 4 stories. Going into an interview, you have 4 stories to tell. And the first story is always tell us about the successful project that you've handled.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is about the opposite of that.
Tell us about an unsuccessful
An unsuccessful project that you've handled. The fourth one is usually...
The third one, is it?
The third one is about... Tell us about the difficult stakeholder that you've worked with. So a difficult stakeholder can come in form of an employee that you've worked with, a manager that you've worked with, a customer situation that didn't go well. So all of these stories have to be at hand. And the final one is that tell us about an exciting project that you've worked on. So it can be a project that you worked on in the past that you're very passionate about, that is related to the job that you're hiring for, that you're trying to get, or something that you plan, a passion project that you plan on embarking on, and the things that you've done to start it. So let's go to the first one. So you talked about, tell us about, what was the first one again? A very successful project that you worked on.
Yes.
You get. So how do you go about it? There's a particular strategy that I know has been and all of these questions, there's a framework for you to answer them.
Okay, what's the framework?
It's called the STAR method. It might sound like a cliche, but it works. So imagine all of us in this world. We work the way I see interviews. One of the ways I see interviews is that imagine all of us, we've watched a particular movie, and we watched that movie 7 times.
You already know what's going to be said.
So all of these stories are your movies. Those questions are going to come in different ways, but they are going to layer on these particular stories. Those 4 main stories: successful project, a failed project, managing a stakeholder, and finally a passion project. Those are the 4 cardinal points that I want, or stories in which all of your interviews are going to come from. It is standard. the questions would come in different ways, but those are the things
Standard.
that they're asking for. So how do you now answer the question? So the first thing you need to do, you need to acquaint yourself with the STAR method. It was coined by Amazon, and they call something about this. They say something about raising the bar. So at Amazon, their recruitment strategy, and I know like articulate very well, is about this is the bar. They want to recruit somebody that comes in and raises the bar. So that is the way in which they are able to improve excellence within their organization, one employee at a time. And they created a framework that allows them to be able to assess each candidate on how they are going to raise the bar. And if Amazon is using it to filter out candidates, I don't know why you're not reverse engineering it for you to get a role in other companies that might not particularly be Amazon. So what is the framework? It's called the STAR method. It's called situation, task, action, and results. So let me give a very broad situation here. We want to apply for the role for the manager of the restaurant. And the hiring manager asks you, so what will you do in a situation whereby a customer comes in and says that the food that you've given to them, that the order is bad? So what do you need to do? Use the STAR method. You first of all,
Do you want us to act that out? Okay.
Ask me. I'm not a manager for a food restaurant. I'm just trying to paint something. Let's go. Just ask.
Okay. So I'm the customer then.
Yeah.
There's a rat in my stew.
There's a rat in your stew. Let's not use rat though. But I understand the question. So the situation is that. So in the interview, you tell them that the hiring manager asked you that question. So you tell them that there was one time that I was working for a restaurant, and there was a rat. The customer claimed that there was rat in the stew. So that's the situation. The task. What is the task? The task is to calm the customer down and make the customer feel that acknowledge what they've seen and what you need to like make them feel better, because oftentimes all of these things is based on our feelings. That is how we feel oftentimes is paramount to what we do.
Yeah.
So make them feel, the task is to make them feel all right.
Feel better. Yeah.
Feel better. So what were the actions that you took? Number one action might be, okay, you give them a free coupon. You give them a free reservation or something like that. You give them, next time that they're coming, they can bring their family. Things that you do that will change how they were feeling. The result is that the customer was happier. The customer actually came back. The customer left a review. If they had a formal review, the customer went on and removed that review and put a better review.
Because they felt like they were heard.
They felt better. So all of the stories, once they ask you a particular question, before they ask you that particular question, all of those stories, you lay those stories in that framework. One personal story was asked one question about the success. A success project a project that I worked on that was very successful. So the situation was that there was a particular brand that I was working with. That brand was 100% on 100% offline point of sales before COVID. So that is everything that anything that the customer needed to buy from that brand, they'll go to a shop and go and buy it. We're running online campaigns for them, but you go to a shop to go and buy it from that particular brand. And that was the situation. And COVID hit, and nobody could actually go out to go and get anything from that brand. And obviously they need to be paying salaries because people were at home and they were losing money. So the task is to look for an alternative form of revenue for that brand. So we did a bit of research, that is the marketing deep, understanding the target audience and things like that, understanding the markets, what were people listening, what were people watching. So we did a bit of research, and the research showed that there was an increase in DIY content consumption online because people couldn't hire people to get things done for them, so they were doing things themselves. There was an increase in like entertainment videos and things like that. So those were the two pillars. Those were the two main points, insights that we got as a result of that research. So what we did, the exact actions that we took to help the brand was that they set up an e-commerce store as a replacement for the physical store.
Yeah.
How did we drive traffic? Because there was DIY, a lot of DIY as an insight. We briefed influencers to create content
the
on how to do things as a result of the lockdown, and we promoted those content on the platforms that
That's quite smart.
On the platforms that we know that the target audience were consuming during the lockdown. And by December, we came out of lockdown around May, June. By December of 2020, the online version of that business was making 50% revenue of what the offline business was making before the lockdown.
Wow. 6
months. So narrating that kind of story to somebody in an interview, knowing the story, the last time I interviewed was probably like 2 months ago, so I might be a bit rusty. But narrating that kind of story to somebody as a success story makes the person understand your thinking and how you can deliver on the task. So understanding those 4 stories and knowing how to introduce yourself properly is very important during the post-catch process of a job application.
Sorry, just to summarize that. So what you're saying is those 4 questions they can ask you. Tell me about the successful, tell me about unsuccessful, and all the other questions. Use the STAR method, right?
Yeah.
To answer all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the things that you can control within an interview. Now let's go a bit into the things that you can't control.
The scary part.
Yeah, unfortunately that's a scary part. There's a part of there's a part of discrimination that you might not be aware of. There is a part of lack of confidence on your own part because you felt you were not good enough, and it showed off during the interview. Like I remember at the beginning of this interview, you said I was nervous. Yeah, it's okay to be nervous in an interview.
Yeah.
And probably the audience too can tell maybe I was nervous at some point during this interview. It's very okay to be nervous. And you can always tell them they are very good. They try to be good here in this part of the world. You can always tell them in a call, please, I'm a bit nervous. Do you want to give me a minute for me to like
prepare,
catch my breath, take a glass of water? They will. They should allow you to do that. You can, if you don't know an answer to a question, you can always tell them,
I don't know.
You don't know. But if you would do something as a result of this question, this is what you have done. If they should ask you, have you done this in the past, and you've not done it, don't BS your way around it. Just say, this is what I would have done, and I don't know if it's applicable for this role of for this company, but judging by what you asked me, because I've not done it before, this is what I would have done. The final coming into this country, because we came in at a time where, because there's a wave, and it's called the Japa wave. Japa has been happening. It's not today. That's why I used to say we are the class of 2021, 2022, 2023. It has not started. It started for every time. I'm speaking to Nigeria. For every time Nigeria has like an economic downturn, there is always a wave of professionals leaving the country. It happened during the 70s, during Shagaris. It happened in the 90s, Babangida. People came back during the Obasanjo period. And shortly after, towards the end of Jonathan's period, people started leaving. And now we know what's going on. So people leave. People leave these countries as professionals, and people leave Nigeria and they come to the UK, US, or Canada. And the past generations, based on what was obtainable during their time, there's a possibility that when you came in, you have a couple of people in their 50s or 40s that were mentors on how you can navigate the job market.
Yeah.
The advice that they will give to you is good. Those people are actually good for them. They're actually good for young immigrants like us to have a level mind, so that we'll be level-headed and not be moving like the way we used to move on social media. It's in real life. They are good for that. But when it comes to job search, the experience that they might be giving to you might not be tenable. During their own time, they come in. I'm talking about established professionals here. If you have not paid your dues in Nigeria and you are here looking for a job, this advice is not for you. I'm talking about people who are putting I'm talking about people who have paid their dues, but it has just not happened. You understand? They pay their dues, but they can't get jobs, and people start advising them that you need to go and get a course, you need to go and get a UK certified course. I know. I'm talking about marketing here. I know that you need to get those things. You need to further on your education, but it shouldn't stop you from applying for jobs, roles that you desire for. One thing I told on my podcast, on how I did a podcast, I told the last person I interviewed that you are Nigerian. The fact that you were born in that country, you're probably already disadvantaged. So once you come here, you should know that you are not losing, you're already gaining. That mindset that you used to gather your money as somebody, because Nigerians are known to be very ambitious. That ambition inside of you, don't let it die as a result of the amount of, unfortunately, emails that you are getting.
Yes.
See your job search as a deck of cards. You keep flipping the cards to see the cards that you are being dealt. Most of the cards that you open are not going to be yours, but the one that you flip right would actually be yours. You just need to focus on keep on opening those cards for you to be able to get there. The fact that you are able to survive in a professional terrain in Nigeria and trying to bring that experience here. Look at the things that you've gone through. No jobs, you got a job in Nigeria. No lights, you fuel your generator. As of when this episode is being recorded, there's this fuel scarcity going on in Nigeria. So if you were there, you will still fuel your generator and find a way to work. Those things are things that naturally should demotivate you from aspiring, but you never stop aspiring. You still felt, nope, there's a global stage out there. I can pack my bags and my family or whatever, and you came here to come and explore it. Those things, in my own opinion, they are crazier than discrimination. In my own opinion, it is not a global fact. I just feel that if you can go through those things and chest it as a real Nigerian,
and keep fighting through it,
come here and get those jobs. Those jobs are there. A few weeks after I joined my new company, in our normal weekly session, they told us, like, if you have anybody that is available for a role, for this particular role, my own role, but for a defense product, just let us know so that the person can come in for an interview. Yes, those roles are there, sitting down, and Nigerians don't know those roles are there. So it's very important for our people who want to network, meet people, and things like meet people, exchange numbers. The African head nod is not enough. If you see your African bro, if you feel somebody's African and you nod to the person, If the person nods back, wave. If you can talk, just talk, say
Talk to
hi,
them.
exchange your
Be
names,
friendly.
try to be friendly. I know we've been told very horror stories in the past where those horror stories were created by people. We can write new stories.
We can rewrite it.
Yes, sir.
Wow. What do you have to say to people who believe that if you come to the UK, you have to pick up, a low-paid job or a job that's not in your field because that's only what is offered here for people like us?
Thank you very much for that question. There are it's not white or black. It's very gray. At times you need to survive legally as a means of necessity, which I totally respect. But what I always try to tell people who whom they care, who cares to listen, is that like every other thing that you're trying to build in life, you want to build a house, you want to do this. Your career also is very important for you to build. And you shouldn't, as a result of the turbulence that has hit you because you're in a new environment, totally ignore what you've built over time. Because if you don't keep building, it will wither away. So that's pretty much my thoughts on that, because I know it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
It is a very sensitive topic. So my thoughts on that are just very simple. If you have to do it, much respect to it, but don't get carried away as a result of the benefits that it brings, that it affords you, because the benefits that it affords to you might also be a demerit to your professional career.
Okay. But you know how difficult it is for Nigerians coming to the UK. They need jobs that might offer them sponsorship, which is why they might take on, carer jobs that offer sponsorship. So they might not be able to get, all these high-tech jobs that they want, in their career path because they might not be able to get sponsorship for it.
Thank you. There's something that is very overflowed, and it's called determination. I know life hits us, and one of the things that comes with life is hitting us, you finding yourself in an environment where you need legal paperwork to stay in that environment, quote unquote sponsorship. However, you need to be determined on what you need to do. And an example that I'll give is very much like a two-parent household. One has the sponsorship from a job that they didn't want, but they're taking it, and the other person becomes a dependent. What the dependent can do, in other words, is that they should try to upskill as fast as possible. And once the dependent upskills as fast as possible, maybe you are good in say maybe programming, for example, learn it to just don't go and be moving weird. Know what you're doing. Set up a business around it. Once you set up a business around it, you can take that other person that is a sponsor away from that sponsorship, and the person becomes, and you sponsor yourself, you're self-sponsored, and the person becomes a dependent. So there are several ways in which one can go around this. Also, within the tech ecosystem and digital economy, there are also other opportunities like the global talent visa that one can also explore. But you won't get there if you are not determined to get there, because the reality is that in our professional careers, you'll have 35 years, give or take. The first 5 years is when you pay your dues, when you're looking towards mid-level management, and the last 5 years is basically when you're rounding up. So you're left with 25. So if you now take another 5, plus ILR, I think that's 6 years. Take another 6 years out of it, you're left with less than 2 decades, and you are still trying to pay your dues within that. So you will find out that you will not reach the peak of your potential professionally within that 18 to 15 years that you're going to be spending within the white collar economy in the United Kingdom. So all of this, so it's a game. It's a game of time, and one has to play it very smartly. And the way that you can play it smartly is to be very determined on what exactly you want to do. Nothing also stops you if you are sponsored somewhere that you are okay being sponsored with, and you are applying for roles, the roles that you aspire to have, seeking for sponsorship. But because you are sponsored somewhere and it's taking most of your time, you need to be creating projects within that existing sponsorship that you are, that might be a totally different way from what you aspire or desire to be. You need to be creating projects. If you're in tech, create apps, join different Slack groups, join different teams, join different open source projects, and contribute to it. If you're in marketing, work on your personal brand.
Have you ever had any difficulties with sponsorship?
Yes, I have. And it was a very difficult time for me. I lost the company I used to work for. They had due to the whole issue with the economy, when the interest rates were increasing, they had to restructure the organization, and I was caught in the redundancy of it. I lost my sponsorship 2 months after getting into it. And I would say I've been blessed all my life. Before then, I've never, right from after my graduation, I have never been unemployed. So being unemployed for the first time in my life in a country that I don't know it's like the worst thing one can wish one's enemy. You shouldn't even wish it on your enemy. That is a way to survive. So I experienced that, and it hit me really, really hard. But I didn't dwell on it. One of the beautiful things that I'm always thankful for is the kind of partner that I have. She just soldiered on. She kept it 100, and so when I hear stories about people coming here and it affects their relationships, I think the stories of people coming here and it actually makes their relationships even better is not told often enough.
Yeah, it's not.
Because if you work for each other, this burden will tie you guys much more, makes you guys much more stronger, not pull you guys apart. She held it down for 6 straight months. I can remember getting the call about with the job I'm working at now. The exact day 6 months after I was made redundant. And what she told me much after was that she didn't even know 6 months have passed. That's one of the benefits of when somebody is doing something because they're not doing it for you. They love doing it because it's who they are. So regardless of whomever, they will always be a good person. So she said and I told her, I'd say something like 600 years from my eyes. So she said she could tell that at times she sees me, and she could see the pain in my eyes when I'm just alone or something. But she just doesn't discuss it with me because she knows that I'm a very strong person, and having those conversations, she doesn't know it is to tear me. So, but she knows that I'm trying to keep it together, and because of my mental strength, she just wants me stay focused and be determined. So, losing all of that, and me being challenged to practice what I preach, that is looking for those jobs.
Yes.
It took 6 months. it didn't take me 6 weeks to apply to get my first job. So in as much I'm telling you that it will take you 6 weeks, because I noticed that the first 3 months, the reason why those offers didn't go my way, because I was desperate. And that was the reason why I avoided I'm avoiding during this conversation to term people as desperate. That's why I said they are in need.
Yeah.
But I can't tell myself I was desperate. And once you're desperate, it would sift through, even on a webcam.
They would tell.
They can tell. If somebody is desperate, needing a job from me, I would know. It's just like, you don't need to be a psychologist.
They will accept any amount you give them.
And they don't want that kind of person on their team. And towards the end of the new year, so I had I started following somebody online, a recruiter based in the US. He was let go twice in the last 1 year, and I could resonate with his story. And he made after the first 3 months of desperation, looking forward to his content every day made me understand that people letting you go, it's okay. It's a business. It's not a person. There are so many things that can make them let you go. And if they let you go, you should always try to find the light within that situation. And I basically just found that light within my family, because when you're sleeping and waking up with people that they'll hold you down. No matter what, the ones that you're providing for back home, they're like, nope, you don't need to send us anything. We are good. The ones we are collecting from yourself, are just collecting it so that it does not look like we do not benefit from you being out there. Just take your time and look for what you really want. That's confidence amongst my support system helped my approach towards job search, because now I was much more confident. Can one curse on this podcast?
No.
Okay. I didn't give the S word anymore. I was just there for vibes. And they could tell. They will ask me, why are you applying for this? What's wrong with this? I said, I'm looking for a new job. I'm unemployed. And typically when they ask such questions, people jitter, like, I don't want them to know that they fired me. I was made redundant in my last role. So what are you doing right now? I'm working for a tech startup on contract, which was true. Working for them to help them build their user base, which was true. And where's the tech startup located? In Nigeria. And why do you want to work with them? I said, I'm working with them on a month-to-month basis. They could tell that despite the fact that this guy has demonstrated that he's good, he doesn't need us. So
he's not desperate.
If you should ghost me and you come back in the next 4 weeks, you'll pick up the conversation from there.
Wow.
I don't send follow-up emails. I don't send them thank you emails. Thank you for the conversation. Nope.
So people are always going on and on about CVs, how to write the perfect CVs. Do CVs actually play any important part?
Yes and no. And yes is if looking at the strategies that I laid out earlier, CVs play a part when you are heavily dependent on you running outbound applications. Outbound applications means that you open Indeed, you check for jobs. Each jobs, you are tailoring your CV to each jobs based on the keywords that you've noticed that is relevant for that job. So it should improve your chances of the amount of roles that's the callbacks or application success that you get for the proper interview process to start. So that's basically what it's good for. But on the other hand, I think it's overrated
Why?
because they don't actually read those things.
You don't read the CVs?
They scan through it,
Oh.
and the people scan through the CV in an F shape.
How does
Like if you the first page of the CV and you write the letter F.
Mm-hmm.
So they start from here. They go down.
Mm-hmm.
They read the next line. They go down. They read the next line. As they are reading further, the letter F has like 2 lines in front of the vertical line. As they are reading further, the horizontal line gets smaller. So by the time they get to the bottom of the last page, they are not of the first page. They are not even bothering going.
So what are they actually looking out for on the CV?
So they are looking for the things that are relevant to what the hiring manager told them for the role.
Okay.
So they scan through it. So if the hiring manager tells them that leads are very important for this business, they're looking for lead generation.
Okay.
On that CV, so that's the reason why on your CV, keep it as short as possible, straight to the point as much as possible. Use the right keywords as much as you can, but they will just want to see what you've done, the success of what you've done, the projects you've worked on, the kind of the success amount what you've done. And also another strategy that I forgot to put is that also try for established professionals before they came in, try as much as possible to focus more around the industries that you have more experience.
Okay.
It makes things much more easier for you in your job search, because if I worked 10 years in health tech all my life, and I want to apply for a role in e-commerce, I need 5 years experience. The recruiter will favor someone that has 5 years experience over me that I've worked in health tech all my life, even though I have longer working experience.
Do you tailor your CV for every job that you're searching for, or just one CV will go well with everything?
Okay. That's a very, very interesting question. In the beginning, I did.
Okay.
In the beginning, I did. And that's the reason why when you become a veteran interviewer, you actually you will know the keywords that they're looking for. I'm sorry that almost everything I've been saying has been like backed by facts. But this is the part where my intuition and my experience come into. If you're a digital marketing manager, there are certain things that your CV, there are certain keywords that your CV would need. So in case you're making generic applications, it should be able to fit in and stick to one of those applications. As a product marketing manager, you get digital marketing manager, you're talking about SEO, you're talking about SCM, you're talking about paid ads, you're talking about different things. But as a product marketing manager, despite the fact that they are all under products, you're talking about sales enablement, you're talking about customer success, you're talking about go-to-market strategy. Those are the kind of keywords that have to feature
that they'll be looking for in your CV.
So you can be a digital, you can have experience in both. But you cannot use a digital marketing manager CV to apply for a product marketing manager CV job application. So my experience afforded me the opportunity to create one all-encompassing CV for each role and reduce the amount of needing to tailor my CV to different things. But the reason why that worked effectively for me, because I did less of the broad approach of focusing much on Indeed and Total Jobs and all of them. I went to those niche websites and I applied for them. And after doing my long search on recruiters, and I have all of their websites and some of their emails put into my tail tracker that I earlier mentioned, you get those people, they have less volume in terms of the amount of CVs that they go through. So if they should put something on their websites, oftentimes doesn't even have traffic. That's the truth. So because their website has less traffic compared to a bigger job board that is backed by millions of dollars, they have less CVs. And because they have less CVs and you already have a standout CV, but that is tailored to your profession, not necessarily tailored to that particular role.
Yes, you have a higher chance of getting a job.
And another thing there are so many things, probably I need to write a book or something. Another thing that is in the pre-catch stage, even in the if you pick a recruitment agency for a particular niche, let's say recruitment agency for marketing, you can actually still go further and look for recruitment agency marketing for fintechs.
Special type of marketing.
Another specialty.
Wow.
So if you go there and take your, maybe you want to apply for a product marketing role for a fintech, a marketing role in fintech, and a recruitment agency caters to that, the kind of CVs that they have will be smaller in volume than the general marketing, and will be smaller in volume than a broad job board. So a generic CV, a well-written CV, no typos, once it drops into their own mailbox, they call you and they shop you around for other businesses that will need their expertise.
Honestly, like I mentioned before, I've never met a person who's broken down applying for jobs the way you have, or who has used so much energy. Normally, I just see people, they just apply online, leave it. Okay, if it's God's will, the job will come to me. But from what you've said, you've chased those jobs, you've structured it, you've created an approach that no one has looked at before, and you've used that and you've won, and it's amazing. It's really amazing speaking to you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It's just very, it's just my one of the things that made me come here to have this conversation. I'm also work in progress. But when I came in, and I started applying for jobs, I remember the first time that I turned on my webcam for a job role and I saw a person of color. That was the very first time in a long while that I met somebody and I couldn't speak. Do you know what it means for you to meet somebody of color? And because you were not expecting to meet somebody of color, I was shocked. And I had to tell her, like, give me a minute, I was not expecting to see you. So that is what we experience. And my role, as long as I live in the Western world, my goal from that moment on was that whatever knowledge that I have in terms of putting our people on, in street slang, putting our people on, I will pass it on so that people can benefit from it. We don't find ourselves. We see all of this excellence where we see Nigerian names, African names in different offices, but I still feel there is still so much opportunity for us to like move en masse. We've seen we know other ethnicities that are doing it, and which is very beautiful to see. So once I got a call say, hi sir, I'm not sir, I'm just like tiny me. I have somebody said I should call you. Can I get I'm looking for a job. What can I do? All these things that I'll tell them, okay, call me at 8. Then I'll be out. Then I've done all my duties for the day. Done my job. Spoken with my family. Had family time. Then I can have like extra time, and I take 30 minutes of my time and I break it down. Everything I said today, I try to break it down in 30 minutes, and they usually come back with testimonies. I don't charge for it. The reason I don't charge for it is because I believe I've paid it forward. I've done all of this work so that I can have it. And where the real benefits will come is somebody that I've given these strategies to work with, and the person goes on to be the head of whatever in the next 7 years. And I probably own a business and I want to bid for a contract in that particular company. And the person just, wow, I know. The person is like, wow, you are here, congratulations, blah, 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 blah. And because I've helped that person sees like, wow, this, like, I can vouch for this man. He's a very hardworking man. He knows when he's whatever he's telling you he's talking about, he knows what he's talking about. So it is not about nepotism or whatever. This man just knows what he's talking about because he helped me do this. You get, let's give him a chance. Me coming here is about one, making people know that they can get it, they can get the jobs that they desire. That's one. And two, they can get that chance if they put their work to it.
Wow. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And at this part of our podcast, we do a little game.
Oh,
yeah. I won't say if it's rigged or not rigged. I've been accused of it being rigged. But I've got 3 numbers for you, 1, 2, or 3. You have to pick a number, and whatever you pick, you have to do.
But it's rigged because you know. Okay,
This is my government.
yeah. Okay. I'll pick 2 because I was born on the 2nd.
You pick number 2. Okay. Number 2, you have to rap for us.
What? I think I need to include this in my own podcast as well.
Are you ready?
I may be speaking English, but I'm a very local person.
Do it local.
Look.
If you want beat, I can add beat for you. If not, I can let you go.
God, this is embarrassing. Can I? The only person that is coming to my head now is that Green, the late that Green.
Okay.
Yes, I'm on Niger name me, Niger love BMC, Niger name multi Bresini KBC, I'm on Niger, Mule finish Pepsi, I'm on Niger, one Wallery BBC. I think that's what I can remember.
Oh wow. Well, thank you. It was nice to hear that. I've not heard his music for a long time.
Yeah. R.I.P. that Green.
Yeah. Can you just let people know how they can reach out to you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me on all of my socials is at I am cashier, and that is at IAMCASHIA at I am cashier across Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn. Just send me a message. We'll fix a time and we'll talk.
Thank you very much. And if you enjoyed that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And reach out to Mahmood, and he can help you on your journey on finding your dream job here in the UK. Thank you for watching. Take care.